Morning. Yeah, you're making reference to a motion that was put forth by one of the defense attorneys, Kevin Gough, and Kevin Gough is really like a motion machine. He's constantly submitting motions for the judge. Well, in this most recent one, he says he's concerned about the lack of white males over the age of 40 without a college degree, or commonly called Bubba's or Joe's six-pack. He says there is a noticeable absence of that demographic in the jury selection process, and he's concerned that that may work against the defendants. Again, the judge has asked him to submit a motion, and then he will make a decision on as to whether or not he believes that Kevin Gough has a valid point. Shannon.
And so, you know, his lawyer for William Roddie, Bryan, says that his client is not going to be facing a jury of his peers. But isn't that what this whole process has been about? Finding the appropriate amount of people to be in this pool that represents both sides of this case? What is he looking for? Yeah, and it's unusual in that you have not one defendant, but you have three defendants. And they're trying to find the best qualified jurors that can be really fair and impartial and render a just decision. Obviously, Mr. Gough feels as if this particular demographic is very important. None of the other defense attorneys has raised this point. Only Mr. Gough believes it's an issue here. So it's anyone's guess as to what the perfect juror looks like in Kevin Gough's mind. But certainly the challenge for the court has been to find 12 jurors and 4 alternates that they believe can be fair and impartial, because everyone that was summoned to appear for jury duty lives right here in Glynn County, where Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed in February of 2020. Certainly everyone has heard about the case, and many people have seen the video. And so that does present a challenge in trying to find a fair and impartial jury. But hey, listen, we're at 55 so far. They need to get to 64 qualified jurors before they can move into the next phase, and so they are slowly but surely getting to that 64 number, but we're now in week 3. Well, you know, Dre, the lawyer also talked about men who are like his client as a, quote, protected class. Can you explain that?
You know, I don't know what that means, a protected class. Again, these attorneys have made motion after motion after motion, and some of it makes sense, and then there are other cases that just doesn't seem to make sense at all. But I think what they're trying to do is at least lay the groundwork, early groundwork, for the possibility of a mistrial because the jury poll is tainted, or it doesn't reflect a jury of his peers, he being William Bryan or Gregory and Travis McMichael. They're really trying to, some legal experts believe, lay the groundwork for a mistrial to be declared, or for an appeal if in fact there is a conviction. So they're really playing the long game. But the judge is very strict in that he doesn't discourage them from submitting motions. He says, if that's how you feel, submit the motion and I will render a decision. Remember last week they wanted all of the black men and women who were gathering here on the lawn behind me in support of the Arbery family kicked off of the courthouse grounds. The judge said no, they have a free speech right, they have a legal right to be there. So I don't know, this protected class, I don't know what that means, but the jury process is moving forward.
Well, Dre, you mentioned that 55 people have been selected to move on to the second phase of questioning. So do we know anything about this group that has been selected so far?
No, we know very little. I mean, other than white men, white women, black men, black women, the judge is very strict. He does not want to have really anything in the way of identity or any type of identifiers for those jurors who have been selected, because this is a case that has garnered massive media attention, and this is the kind of town where everybody knows everybody in one way or the other. So the judge is really strict, and also telling members of the media, do not go on TV, do not print in your newspapers or magazines anything that might identify these potential jurors, because if you do, it's only going to complicate your job in trying to cover this trial. So he's made it very clear that he wants their identities to be protected. So we have very general information about who these potential qualified jurors are.
All right, Dre Clark, we know you are on the case and you'll continue to follow it and give us updates on it. So thank you so much for your coverage.